And welcome into this edition of Community in Action, the program designed to bring you information and news from community action in Aroostook, Washington, and Hancock counties. And for those of you used to watching ACAP today, this is our new version of that broadcast, as the footprint of Aroostook County Action Program has expanded to include the counties of Washington and Hancock County here in the state of Maine. We've rebranded this broadcast to Community in Action. And in the coming year, you will see a new name for ACAP. We don't know what that will be yet, but we will keep you posted. But this program will be rebranded Community in Action. And so on this month's Community in Action for the month of October 2025, we will bring you a special program, the Energy Forum, the Energy Assistance Forum, to help folks in Aroostook, Washington, and Hancock counties prepare for the heating season ahead. In a little bit, after the news and information that you can use segment, you're going to hear from leaders in community action across Aroostook, Washington, and Hancock counties about the work that's being done in the coming energy assistance season to help households who need help to keep their homes warm, I should say, throughout the three counties. We're going to hear about those new changes to the program, the Home Energy Assistance Program, and other assistance programs in just a little bit when we bring you that Energy Assistance Forum as our feature broadcast on Community in Action this month. But first, as we do at each point in the broadcast, we first bring you the news and information that you can use again for the month of October 2025. And in our news and information you can use in Community in Action this month, we start with this. The home buyer education classes that are offered by Community Action in Aroostook, Washington, and Hancock counties have their three final sessions in October, November, and December. You see the dates there on your screen. Now, the 8-hour home buyer education class is taught by industry professionals. Those include lenders, home inspectors, and real estate agents in an educational and non-sales oriented environment. Now, the HomeWorks home buyer education classes provide an opportunity to learn about the home buying process in a neutral environment. The course is open to the public and registration is required, and you can still register for the November and December classes of the home buyer education. Those are held virtually, so you can do them from the comfort of your own home. The November and December classes are happening on Saturday, November 8th and Saturday, December 6th. And again, they can happen from the comfort of your own home on those days. Now, for more information or to register, give us a call at 764-3721 or email us at homebuyeredu@acap-me.org. Now, these classes are again open to residents of Aroostook, Washington, and Hancock counties interested in becoming a home buyer. And in addition to the course, you also receive, for those who qualify income-wise, you receive significant cost toward your closing cost as a result of this work, and some pretty very competitive rates for your home loan mortgage. So please do consider, if you're looking to become a homeowner in 2026 or anytime in the near future, registering for this course. Up next, we wanted to share, and we're going to talk more about this in our feature of our broadcast in Community in Action today, and that is the Helping Hands Telethon. Community Action in Aroostook, Washington, and Hancock counties, the United Way of Aroostook, and WAGM are partnering together to host this on Thursday, October 23rd on WAGM. You will hear again more about this in our feature interview or our feature segment, which is the Energy Assistance Forum coming up on Community in Action. We are also reminding folks across Aroostook, Washington, and Hancock counties that the Home Energy Assistance Program season is available to them. You can see the income eligibility guidelines for households right there on your screen. The Home Energy Assistance Program does help eligible homeowners and renters with heating costs. Now, applications can be submitted online, by phone, or in person. Processing usually takes 2 to 8 weeks, depending on when all the requirements from the participant are received. As you can see there, the maximum gross household income is based on the number of people in the household. If you are at or near or below that income level, obviously, please do give us a call or check us out online. You can apply again online, and that does expedite the process. To schedule an appointment or for more information, you can call 768-3053 or energy@acap-me.org. And again, this program is open to residents of Aroostook, Washington, and Hancock counties through our agency. And we have offices obviously across Aroostook, Washington, and Hancock counties to meet your needs for this. And in Washington and Hancock counties, all appointments are pretty much done over the phone unless you do yours online. So again, the opportunity to connect is really easy. We also wanted to let you know of something that our key partners are working on, and that's the Aroostook County Housing Summit, led by Aroostook Partnership in partnership with two of our community partners, of course, Maine Housing, who we work very closely with, and the Genesis Community Loan Fund. They're coming together to host this conference on October 29 and 30 at Northern Maine Community College. The event will include talking about current community needs around housing, the housing development process and financial underwriting, barriers to development and navigating and due diligence, as well as a number of other topics. If you would like to register for the Aroostook County 2025 Housing Summit, you can pre-register via Eventbrite or call Kirsten Purington at kpurington@aroostookpartnership.org. You can visit the Aroostook Partnership website to register through Eventbrite there as well. Now, we also wanted to let you know about a new round of Triple P seminars. These are seminars offering simple, proven strategies to help make family life a little easier. The sessions are designed for parents of children ages 0 to 12 and focus on building confidence, encouraging positive behavior, and tackling common parenting challenges with less stress and more support. Now, there are a number of courses being offered in October, and they're offered virtually to residents of Aroostook, Washington, and Hancock counties. The Power of Positive Parenting will be held on October 22nd. At 5:30 on the 29th is the Raising Confident, Competent Children, and then Raising Resilient Children will be held on November 5th. In addition to that, there will be some Triple P discussion groups for parents of children's and teens. These are groups, are small group supportive sessions that can dive deeper into common parenting challenges. Their 90-minute group offers simple strategies you can use starting right away, along with space to share ideas and learn from other parents. Now, these sessions are being held in person due to the nature of those interactive discussions. Those topics are dealing with disobedience and getting teenagers to cooperate. Those are both on October 25th. They will be held at the Mark and Emily Turner Memorial Library in Presque Isle. For more information or to sign up for either of these courses, you can reach out to Megan Willett at acap-me.org, or you can also call her at 764-3721, extension 116. The Women, Infant, and Children's Program, this is for Aroostook County residents, although there is a WIC program in Washington and Hancock counties that other providers do offer. But the WIC program is open and accepting new applications for families, families with young children in particular. They provide complete nutrition care for thousands of Maine families, helping kids grow up to be strong and healthy. WIC food benefits are available based on income guidelines and up-to-date nutrition research. And I can tell you that the income qualification guidelines for the WIC program are less stringent than a number of other programs that are offered through our agency of community action in Aroostook, Washington, and Hancock counties. All pregnant women and children under the age of 5 that receive SNAP or main care are eligible for WIC. The WIC benefits there are listed on your screen, and they're for healthy foods that you can see also listed on your screen. Now, WIC clinics are offered near you in Aroostook County, in Caribou, Fort Kent, Madawaska, Holton, Presque Isle, and Van Buren. For more information, you can email us at info@acap-me.org or call us at 764-3721. You can also go to our website, acap-me.org, for more information. We are also advertising the early care and education programs that are providing comprehensive, affordable, high-quality infant, toddler, and preschool education and child development programs to families in Aroostook, Washington, and Hancock counties. The locations there are listed on your screen. They're throughout the 3 counties. And if you are interested, or if you have children that are preschool age from infancy all the way up to the age of just about 5, you can give us a call at 764-3721 or email us at info@acap-me.org. We do have some slots open, especially in our Washington and Hancock County locations. applications, and do encourage you to reach out and get that application started if you're even looking ahead to a future time and opportunity to get your name on the list. And we also, on the workforce side of things, want to remind you that the ACAP Workforce Development Program is a federal program under the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act, and we provide a number of services to help individuals to take down barriers to employment and get into high quality jobs and careers. So the Workforce Development Services through the agency, Aroostook County Action Program in particular, serves adult job services. We also do dislocated worker job services. We are part of Maine's Workforce Collaborative. We do work under the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. And we also have work experience and on-the-job training programs for both adult and youth, and help youth with career exploration and youth with extended learning opportunities. So if you or someone you know is in need of assistance to get into the workforce or to advance their skills in the workforce and to advance, or is out of a job at this time, please give us a call at 764-3721 or info@acap-me.org. Now, ACAP does serve all of Aroostook County, a little bit of northern Penobscot County, and about half of Washington County with these services, but we work in partnership with Eastern Maine Development Corporation in the remainder of Washington and Hancock counties. So if you do reach out to us and you're from either of those two counties, we will gladly connect you with the provider and make that as seamless as possible. Again, workforce development services available through the Community Action Agency serving Aroostook, Washington, and Hancock counties. Give us a call at 764-3721 or info@acap-me.org. And we also wanted to remind you, we talked about this on a past edition of this broadcast, and that's the Wheels to Work program, Fueling Opportunities to Thrive, which is a program of United Way of Aroostook. It helps households who are looking to be able to get transportation to get to and from work, which is oftentimes one of those things that just falls through the crack because there's not really a program to support families already in employment with this program. Now, it is limited to a one-time maximum payment of up to $700 per household. The individual must be currently employed or seeking employment, including working with ACAP or Community Action in Aroostook, Washington, and Hancock counties in the workforce development program I just spoke about. It does require a formal application that can be accessed through the United Way of Aroostook. Sarah's email is up there, sarah@unitedwayaroostook.org, or the phone number is 764-5197. This can include tires being replaced if deemed unsafe, including not obviously being able to register the vehicle. The valid driver's license, insurance, and registration is required. An individual, in this case, must reside in Aroostook County. It's for folks that are below 300% of the federal poverty guidelines. And if you have completed a WIOA application through ACAP, because we first want folks to be able to access support through that program if they are eligible. So please do give Sarah a call at United Way of Aroostook. The number and information is there on your screen. And lastly, if we haven't talked about something in this edition of Community in Action and you are in need of assistance, the community action agencies that serve Aroostook, Washington, and Hancock counties do offer services in a number of the things on the screen, or can help connect you with other resources in our respective counties and communities. So if you are in need of assistance at this time, please do reach out. You can call us at 764-3721, and we can make sure that that support is provided to you across the 3 counties. So please do give us a call if you're in need of something and aren't quite sure where to reach out at this time. And lastly, we usually bring you this at the end of our ACAP Today broadcast and now our Community in Action broadcast, but we're going to bring it to you now. This is our highlight snapshot because, as I mentioned, we are going to be going into the Energy Assistance Forum that was held on September 30th and October 1st for folks across Aroostook, Washington, and Hancock counties as our feature presentation. So we're going to wrap that up as the final part of ACAP Today, but bring you our highlight snapshot anyway. This lovely animal right there is therapy dog Sophie, who visits Friendship Cottage, which is an adult day program in Blue Hill, which is part of the community action in Aroostook, Washington, and Hancock counties. Blue Hill is in Hancock County, not far from Ellsworth. And every Wednesday, Sophie gets to visit and give love as only a dog can at Friendship Cottage. It's one of the many wonderful services that Friendship Cottage, which is again part of community action in Aroostook, Washington, and Hancock Hancock counties. It's one of the many wonderful services that Friendship Cottage offers to adults in their community. And I actually had a chance to sit down with the gentleman in this picture here for lunch one day, and he's a lovely gentleman and has great conversations and has had an interesting life that he loves to reminisce about. And so it was a pleasure meeting him, and I hope to get back to Friendship Cottage sometimes on a Wednesday so I can also meet Sophie. For now, that's it for this month's edition of Community in Action, our very first edition of Community in Action. We will be back next month with another edition. For now, we take you to the Energy Assistance Forums that were held, or to the Energy Assistance Forum that was held earlier in October, to be able to update folks in the community around the changes to the Home Energy Assistance Program and other services available to them. Here is that forum now. Well, good morning, everyone. In the interest of everyone's time, we will get underway. Welcome into this Aroostook, Washington, and Hancock Counties Home Energy Forum. We held one yesterday afternoon and are holding this one today. My name is Jason Parent, and I am the Executive Director, CEO of the Three County Community Action Agency that we are working diligently to form across the three counties. And just to give you a little bit of context, we have done this similar forum, both in-person variations and remote over the years, every fall in Aroostook County to help inform key community stakeholders and partners that we work with about some of the changes to the new season to the Home Energy Assistance Program, and to try to streamline as much as possible requests for emergency fuel across the region. So we wanted to, given our expanded footprint, wanted to have this conversation as an expanded conversation across the three counties. And so we've gathered some of our team members today to share with you information, important information, as we head into the colder months of the year, and especially the vulnerable populations of the three counties turn to us and turn to a number of other community partners for assistance with fuel. So we work very collaboratively, especially here in Aroostook County over the years, and as we continue to do more work in Washington and Hancock County, really want to truly make this a partnership, especially with our fellow nonprofit organizations, municipalities, and faith-based organizations, all of whom have a very important role to play in making sure that Mainers across our three counties stay warm and safe in their homes through the cold winter months. So the purpose of this forum is to be interactive, and we had a really great conversation yesterday where we've actually edited and added to some of the information we're going to share with you today based upon what some of the participants shared in the forum yesterday. We will be providing this recording in our weekly briefing, and as well as the slide deck, which we may edit separately if there are other resources that people submit to us, as they did yesterday after yesterday's meeting. So when we have the question and answer period a little bit later on, we certainly welcome folks to bring in other information that we might not be aware of and that we certainly want to make our community aware of. So please do, if you have any questions between now and then, feel free to type them into the chat, and we will certainly address them as we go through the forum today. But again, we're very pleased to have you joining us today for this important information around the Home Energy Forums. We thought we'd start, before we get into that specific information, with a little bit of information that I'm sure a number of folks are wondering about. And as we've led this and talking about a three-county community action agency, we are working collaboratively in what was the footprint of Aroostook County Action Program and Down East Community Partners to serve a new combined service area of Aroostook, Washington, and Hancock counties. This is a temporary logo that we're using while we work on coming up with a new name, but I thought I'd take just a minute to share with you, as many community members have asked, and we're going to be putting out more communication on where things currently stand with that work. The first thing I wanted to let everyone know is despite how this has been portrayed or depicted in the media, this is not a merger. We are not bringing the two agencies as they were together. We've actually been working diligently in partnership with Down East Community Partners to end the contracts with Down East Community Partners with various funding sources, be it Maine Housing, Department of Health and Human Services, and others, to effectually end those contracts with Washington and Hancock counties with Down East Community Partners and transition those to ACAP. We've been successful in doing that for almost all of the programs effective today, October 1st. You may recall and have heard that the Head Start program transitioned to ACAP as the interim provider while we're working toward becoming the permanent provider of those Head Start program services. That happened on July 1st. The energy programs transitioned over, including the Home Energy Assistance Program, on August 1st. And we're working right now with Maine Housing to transfer the remainder of the housing contracts, including weatherization and home repair, from DCP over to ACAP. And also effective today, we have transitioned the Community Services Block Grant contract, which is what makes a community action agency a community action agency. That has transferred over. We're working diligently on the finishing touches of transferring elder care services over, which is namely, for those of you who are familiar with the facility in Blue Hill, Friendship Cottage, that is all in the final stages of transitioning over. And of course, many folks have heard about the transportation program, and unfortunately, the challenges with the transportation program were just too insurmountable, and the service had dropped off in such a way that there was really not much to transition over. That noted, we worked very closely with RideSource, a provider that had been brought in the region to sort of make up for rides that DCP wasn't providing, to pick up those rides, especially as it relates to the Department of Health and Human Services and non-emergency medical transportation. And then we're working very collaboratively with Waldo Community Action Partners, our sister CAP out of Belfast, who will be taking on some of the Maine Department of Transportation related rides and have moved the vehicles and are working to continue to provide services to the people of Washington and Hancock counties as we move forward. We also wanted to share with you that our plans are indeed to form a new 3-county community action agency. That has been our covenant. That has been our promise with the board of Down East Community Partners. And we're working diligently toward doing that, which will include a new board that will be representative of all 3 counties to be seated in the coming months. I have been spending a considerable amount of time trying to split my time between Aroostook County as well as Washington and Hancock counties, as have other members of our leadership team. We have done a great job of bringing on as many of the program staff with community action in Washington and Hancock counties into the new organization, including some of the speakers that you're going to hear today, and really have found that we have some great talent between the 3 counties at this point that we have been able to harness, and hopefully will be able to support better service delivery as a result of the efficiencies that are coming as the agencies have combined. And then very exciting to announce that in 2026, we will be announcing a new agency name and brand that will be reflective of that footprint across the 3 counties. So that is the update of the information that we have for all of you today. We're very excited to be working collaboratively across the 3 counties. I think it will be in the best interest of investing more of the dollars into the people that we serve, as we have reduced eliminated some duplicative administration amongst the organizations by providing this opportunity to bring the 3 CAPs together. So we're excited about that opportunity, and we're excited to be partnering with 2 counties in Maine that we work in partnership with and very closely on a number of projects over the years. So with that, I'm going to turn it over now to Heidi Reckliffe, who is the Chief Program Officer for all programs across the 3 counties, not related to early care and education. She has the complete basket of other programs, and she's going to talk about what the programs and resources are so we can all have a level set on that. So Heidi, over to you.
Thank you, Jason, and good morning, everyone. So wanted to give you a little bit of basic information for 3 of the programs that really work and help assist individuals with their utility needs or energy sources. So the first program that we have is known as HEAP. We call it HEAP. Technically, it's Home Energy Assistance Program. You'll also hear it interchangeably with the word LIHEAP, low income. We prefer to not use that term because we have a lot of individuals on fixed income and feel like it's more appropriate as far as the name. So this is the federally funded program that we have, in which we try to get everyone that is eligible to utilize this program first and foremost. This is administered by Maine Housing, and it provides that financial assistance to individuals to low to moderate income to help with their heating costs. This is a benefit that's determined and it can meet any energy need. So whether that's pellets, oil, kerosene, even electricity if the individual is electric heat. This is the staple program and is really pivotal for not only the first stop that we would want all individuals in any county to utilize, but it's also a prerequisite program for a lot of other programs we have that we provide as well, such as housing assistance, weatherization, repairs. You need to be heating eligible in order to receive those programs. So HEAP is one of the biggest programs that we have. It's a legacy program within Community Action, and so many of our community members rely on us. It's a supplemental program, so it's not intended to fully fund your entire energy source for the year. It's supposed to offset and make things a little bit easier. There are a couple different ways that someone can apply for that benefit. Most of the time, individuals will have set an appointment. Depending on the county, different counties provide the service differently. In Washington and Hancock, it's typically a phone appointment. And in Aroostook County, we offer in-person appointments as well as phone appointments. Another piece to that program this year is that there's a second year of doing online applications, and I really want to take a minute to preference the importance and how online applications can be beneficial to customers. Right now, we've completed about a little over, I want to say 3,500 applications between the three counties. And as you can imagine, winter is coming, so people are wanting their appointments, and there's only so many appointments we can take a day. The online application gives the ability for the person to do the application at their convenience, but also to see the status of their application in real time. And if there's any additional proof that they need, they can upload it right on that site. It can be a lot of ease for individuals and reduce a lot of barriers rather than coming into the appointment specifically, because you don't know the status of the application in real time if you've done the online application. So the next program that I want to talk about is what we call ESIP. It is Emergency Crisis Intervention Program. So this is an offshoot of someone's regular heating benefit. So you'll have your regular heating benefit, but if at any point you find yourself in an emergency situation, so the equivalency of a fourth of a tank or under, if you're talking about oil or kero, you're eligible to get on the waiting list or to try to seek out that assistance. Typically, in previous years, the benefit has been up to $800. So an individual can have more than one ESIP assistance. If you would imagine that 100 gallons would be 400, you might be eligible for 2 ESIPs. Programs changed this year a little bit, and we're only going to have the ability to offer 1 ESIP to a household at the maximum of $500. So there's pros and cons to that, but it is going to change the lay of the land for how we deliver and provide these services to customers across the 3 counties. Our last but not least program and resource that's available for individuals is our energy assistance donation dollars. This is a last resort funding option. And each county really kind of depicts the eligibility for these programs and services, which is just determined by the funders that we receive the funds from. So for instance, we this year have a telethon. We have a telethon that we've been doing for years in Aroostook County, supported with United Way and WAGM. Those 3 entities will make the eligibility requirements for what and how we're going to use those dollars. Typically in the past, it's been prioritization for households with children, elderly individuals, or medical issues. We also have used it for if there's a barrier for someone obtaining heat that's going to last a long time. We don't want those individuals to go cold while they're waiting for a proof that they're not able to get, and it's no fault of their own. So we might use a donation to hold them over until we're able to get them processed for their heat benefit. This year, we're also having a radiothon for Washington and Hancock to serve those areas. And again, private donors, different organizations will have different rules and eligibility in those areas. Previously, there's been a special pot of funds for veterans. Every year, it kind of changes. We're still waiting to hear what the parameters are going to be for this year, but we have already started looking into that. We really try to have those energy donation dollars, again, not only be the last resort, but we use them very scarcely. It's situational based. And we try as much as possible to make sure that it's helping the people that fall between the cracks. So maybe someone who's not even eligible for HEAP because they're just over the income guidelines a little bit. Those are pretty much the three programs that are pivotal in serving individuals with energy costs.
Thank you so much, Heidi. One of the things that we found has been helpful in these forums that we've held in past years is to help provide our partners, our community partners, with a better understanding of what these benefits do in fact mean to people and what we're dealing with in terms of volume and what the average award is. So we pulled together, we had our data analyst here at the 3-County Community Action Agency, who is Josh McAtee. He pulled together some critical data that we find is very helpful to share with our partners. And we're going to turn to Josh now to talk to you about that data. And he's going to look over 2 different data sets, both Aroostook County and then Washington and Hancock County. And so, Josh, let's go over to you.
Thank you, Jason. All right, so for Aroostook County, we used a very similar set of data for the last 2 years. And going into the 3rd year, we're not having as much of a change year over year as we typically do. So the funding is relatively stable. So you'll see that the expected amount of applications for both the year we just completed and the year that we just started are the same. But the benefit, right, is looking like we're going to get a little bit more funding than we previously did. That's the average, HEAP benefit as far as what we're giving out for money. And then, of course, you have the cost, which is only going up of fuel. And then you have the cost of groceries, right? In this example, for a family of 4, and then your monthly Social Security, which is going up a little bit, but not enough to keep up with the costs that increase. Then you have the average number of gallons provided. So even though we're going to be throwing more dollars at this supplemental issue, the amount of gallons people will get will slightly go down. And this is kind of the trajectory that we see probably over the next couple of years until a different administration decides to prioritize things. Once again, we have 1 delivery only for ESIP that is going to impact how we use our different pots of money and where we use them, because that is $300 worth of resources that each person will not be able to get that in the past 4 years they have been able to get. And then for Washington and Hancock, very similar situation, right? So our applications, we're expecting to take the same number of applications. The amount of the benefit is going up slightly. The heating cost also going up, groceries going up even more so down in that southern region. Social Security is national cost, so that's the same. And then the number of gallons provided, once again, is going down by 3 gallons, even though we're actually going to be getting about $50 more into, the tanks. So one delivery for ESIP again, and we're just looking forward to not having a huge cutback like we saw the last 2 years before this year.
Thank you, Josh. And I think part of what is necessary and important to explain to folks and why you see a bit of a discrepancy there is a weather factor that is brought into this and a climate factor that is brought into this. So part of that does explain the variation, although I would certainly argue that it's not any much warmer in Washington and Hancock County than it is in Aroostook County. And then, of course, the household demographic does make an impact on what the average benefit, and the numbers that you were seeing there that Josh just presented were the average benefit. And so that varies across the region and across the 3 counties based on things like household size and household income and other critical factors within the household and in the region. So those were just average benefits. So if you're talking with somebody and their benefit was far less or potentially more than that benefit, that might explain why that is. That was, again, just the average benefit and doesn't represent the aggregate benefit in terms of everyone receiving that. So the next thing that we wanted to share with you, and is going to be shared by our leader for energy and housing services across all 3 counties, Kelly Casey, who's in Ellsworth, and Kelly is going to present to you some of the key changes that are happening this year with the Home Energy Assistance Program that we want folks to be aware of, because it is going to make a difference in terms of the people who are presenting to you and the consumers as to why they may be receiving less, for example, in emergency fuel. So Kelly?
Great. Thank you so much, Jason. I really do appreciate it. Thanks everyone for joining. We do have some very critical and important updates for this year's HEAP benefit that will be going out to clients. Probably the very first part of November is when we anticipate benefit drops to clients and their vendors. We've seen a significant increase on the number of customers who are opting to complete their online HEAP application. Yesterday, when I did this forum, it was interesting. We had already completed 722 online applications. I checked the figures this morning. That is up slightly to 728 online applications have been completed between Aroostook, Hancock, and Washington counties. The benefits for the PY 2026 HEAP season are similar in size. We say similar in size in that there's been slight increases. And again, Jason had mentioned there's several factors that go into that benefit determination, but we are seeing that benefit on a little bit of an uptick. So that's great for the customer demographic that we are providing services to. Direct check is now going to wood pellet, biobrick, coal, and wood customers. I think the one thing I want to stress is that if we are working with our clients, customers, with regards to the application, we all want to be advised that we highly encourage our customers to keep those receipts. We have heard rumblings that Maine Housing may audit them to make sure that they are spending that amount on their fuel needs. There is no guarantee or rhyme or reason if that is going to happen, but I think it's great education that we provide to all those that work amongst our fellow community members to ensure that they're prepared in the event they are asked to produce a receipt for the fuel type that they selected for the heating season. As Heidi and Josh and several others have mentioned earlier, ESIP, which is formerly known as the Emergency Crisis Intervention Program, the big change this year has been a one-time $500 max benefit to be received once a client's initial heat benefit has been used. So this is a change for many of our customers and clients that we've worked with. In the past, they were used to receiving up to $800, and that could have been used multiple times in past seasons. This year, it's a one-time benefit. So the education around the clients and customers that we're servicing really needs to be around ensuring that they are accessing that ESIP benefit that they're entitled to in a true emergency. And there is a criteria that we are required to programmatically follow, and our staff have been trained to ensure that we are closing that loop to ensure it's a true emergency crisis for the clients and customers. So those are as follows. So a client would be eligible for an ESIP if they report that they're under a quarter of a tank for oil or kerosene, less than 25% for propane, and a 7-day or less supply for wood pellets, wood pellet, biobrick, coal. And then we also have utility disconnect that relates to the operation of a heating system. I also want to just mention that the volume of applications that we're seeing coming in right now, as of this morning, we have completed 3,913 applications. As I reported, 728 of those applications have been done online. So we are seeing a trend that is certainly upticking across Aroostook, Hancock, and Washington County. And just to give you a sense of what that means, we are still booking in-person and telephone appointments into February. So many Mainers still in need and accessing resources, but I think this is just a good overview of what's to come for the upcoming heating season.
Thank you so much, Kelly. I think one of the important things to note about what Kelly indicated there is that For the past couple of years anyway, the program, the Home Energy Assistance Program in the state of Maine has actually been subscribed to the maximum possible level. In years past, prior to that, and certainly prior to the pandemic, there was actually, Maine gets about a $40 million allocation in Home Energy Assistance Program dollars every year. There was actually money that was remaining in that, which was then able to be used to support doing additional home weatherization projects, and more importantly, to supplement the funds for a program called the Central Heating Improvement Program, or CHIP. That program actually allows us to repair and, in cases, replace furnace or heating systems in homes of individuals who qualify and are participants in the Home Energy Assistance Program. We typically, within the agencies and across the 3 counties in years past, have been able to repair and replace furnace systems pretty promptly. The challenge with the funds not rolling over because the program has been subscribed to the max is that there is, and we want to let folks and our partners in particular know that there are a number of malfunctioning and not working furnace systems, unfortunately, across the 3 counties that we are diligently trying to do, that are on a waiting list while we await funding for that particular program. That is a hardship that in the past has not been to the extent that it is right now. And so you may hear from customers. I heard from a customer last year, the daughter of the parents who have participated in the Home Energy Assistance Program for years, have been retired and have not seen a substantial change in their income, suddenly were declined for a heat benefit last year. And when we dug into that, the reason why that they were declined was because their furnace system had been condemned. We are not allowed to put a fuel allocation towards a condemned heating system, yet the alternative was that the household couldn't afford the repair and the replacement at that moment. So that's a case where energy assistance dollars, through the donor dollars, through the emergency fund that's outside of the Home Energy Assistance Program, those funds were used at that time. Is that an ideal situation? No, because that furnace is condemned and it really shouldn't be. It's not in the best interest of the health and welfare of that household. However, we wanted to make sure that folks didn't freeze to death in their homes, and that's literally decisions that we're required to make each and every day to make sure that we support folks. So I know that those of you who regularly communicate with consumers as well understand these critical challenges, but again, providing additional context so that you understand what it is that we are facing at this time. Also, for additional context to provide you, if you look at how many households, I'm going to use an Aroostook County statistic here, we had 47 households in Aroostook County who were eligible for the Home Energy Assistance, who applied and received a benefit in the 2019-2020 heating season. If you recall, that's when we were heading into the pandemic. And so if you recall the statistics that Josh shared on the screen now, we are looking at just under 8,000 households in Aroostook County who are receiving or who apply for a Home Energy Assistance Program benefit. The reality of the situation, folks, here is that as the cost of living has increased in recent years and people's dollars are really being stretched, we have more seniors who are living on fixed incomes who in the past might dip into any meager savings that they have, or really try to budget it such that they didn't have to turn to us to rely on this program. And the reality of the fact is they can't sustain that anymore. So we're glad that we can be here. It's the intended safety net for folks through the Home Energy Assistance Program that we can be here. But we have seen a marked increase across the 3 counties in people who need to and turn to the Home Energy Assistance Program for assistance because there's just not enough resources within their own household to be able to afford to heat their homes. It's unfortunate, it's a tragic situation, but we're glad that we can be here for them. And I'm very proud of the Home Energy Assistance Program team and our intake teams within the agency here, who are the most current right now in terms of getting applications taken and certified of any agency across the state of Maine. And that really is to their credit and to the leaders' credit in that line that you've just heard speak, that we're making sure that people do get their benefit. Now, a challenge which is beyond their control, which I think is also important to context set and share for you, is that the Home Energy Assistance Program although we're taking appointments, we were taking appointments as early as the very beginning of August, even in late July, and we are required to prioritize the most vulnerable customers in that period of time. So seniors, families with very young children are considered more hypothermic, and they are seen earlier in the process. The unfortunate reality is until Congress releases those dollars to Maine Housing actually pays the benefit directly to the client's fuel vendor, or in the cases, the exceptions that Kelly noted, directly to the customer to buy pellets or wood or whatever the case may be. Those benefits typically have not gotten released until the month of November, sometimes as late as Thanksgiving. So even though that household has had their intake work done and our team has done the diligence of certifying that process, those initial fuel supplemental payments aren't issued sometimes until deep into November. And we all know in our 3 counties that October is a heating month. So invariably, the other challenge is that the emergency crisis intervention program that you all heard about, that doesn't kick in until November 1st. So October is the month where we actually feel the most helpless, because we don't typically have a resource unless there's donor dollars left over from the year prior. And that hasn't happened in a couple of years since there were supplemental benefits from the pandemic. So it's important that folks understand the context of what we're facing, particularly in October and November, that many of these households, even though they've qualified for the program, the benefit hasn't been released, or the emergency fuel program hasn't opened up yet until November 1st, and we find ourselves up against the wall. I am going to acknowledge, yes, indeed, we are going to be the question in the chat. Can we get the slides and recording to share with coworkers that weren't able to attend? Absolutely. The slides and the recording will be circulated in our weekly briefing next week. The 3 County Community Action Agency does a weekly briefing out to our community, and this will be part of the recording. The entire recording and the slides will be in that. If you do not receive the weekly briefing in your inbox, please do send us your email information in the chat, and we will make sure to add you, and you will receive that next Tuesday morning at 5:05 a.m. coming into your inbox. So that is answering that question. We're going to take questions again in just a moment, but before we do that, we have a few other things that we want to cover. And one of those is here in Aroostook County, as I mentioned, and as Heidi mentioned, we've partnered very closely with United Way of Aroostook and our local television station, WAGM TV, to raise funds for those who don't otherwise qualify for the Home Energy Assistance Program, or who can't access it, that find themselves in an emergency in the winter months. And that is called the Helping Hands Telethon, and we're very pleased to have with us our partner from United Way of Aroostook, Sarah Duncan, who's going to speak about that program now. So Sarah, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Thank you, Jason, and thank you for joining us. I just want to highlight the significance of our upcoming heating telethon. It's become a really crucial initiative that was formed by a partnership with United Way of Aroostook and ACAP and WAGM TV. This year, thankfully, it's scheduled for October 23rd from 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. It's earlier this year, like Jason said, the need starts in October, so we were really, really pleased that it moved from December to October this year. And we'll be live on WAGM that day and donations can be sent in advance to United Way of Aroostook or all throughout the winter. We do have people that do give all winter long, and we're so appreciative of these donations. Really, we're looking to bring together resources in Aroostook County to one central location and fund, and that's really the purpose of this emergency fund, so we can streamline the process and reduce the need for individuals to contact multiple sources, and also potentially receive overlapping assistance, which takes from others that are in need and don't have the ability to get assistance. It's worked really well in the past for us, and it's also created a unified message so that when we're all on the same page and people are panicked in need, they're getting that unified message and that accurate information every place they call. So we're really encouraging everyone on October 23rd to donate to ensure our community stays warm. So thank you very much, Jason, for the partnership.
Thank you so much, Sarah, and I give credit to Sarah and the team at United Way that have really helped to lead that effort. What we were finding, and it was the case in Aroostook County, is that folks were oftentimes, in some cases out of desperation, sort of fuel shopping around and calling anyone and everyone who had a small emergency fuel fund, churches, going to their community for general assistance, turning to other nonprofit organizations. And for the most part, in Aroostook County, working in partnership with United Way, we've been able to coalesce folks around one-stop shopping in terms of you call the Community Action Agency, and the Community Action Agency will first assess to make sure that you could potentially be eligible for the Home Energy Assistance Program, which is a more sustaining opportunity for you to year after year receive a supplemental benefit. And we will verify that first. If you're unable to because you don't qualify, or we can't access that program for you because a key document is missing or some other challenging situation, that's when we then turn to the emergency fuel dollars. So we've had a number of faith-based organizations who in the past were trying to manage small funds within their church that said, here, we'll pass this on to you. We'll let this fund rest with you, and we'll direct donations in your direction. And that we will, when people call us, we will direct them to you, so that folks aren't both shopping around for fuel, and then in the case of administering the program, many of these small nonprofit organizations and churches really did not have the personnel to handle the volume of calls and to process and to work with the fuel vendors to get the assistance that was required. So that certainly has worked in Aroostook County, and we are very amenable to working with a culture and are working with what folks in Washington and Hancock County need. And one of the areas where we're doing that this fall is in a brand new partnership with a radio station in Ellsworth, Star 97.7. And we are very pleased to announce that on Thursday, November 13th, we will be working in partnership with Star 97.7 to raise awareness on the airwaves of that radio station, and hearing from individuals who have benefited from emergency fuel allocations in the past, and asking the community to support that effort to raise funds for residents with home energy emergency needs in Washington and Hancock counties. Important to note that the telethon dollars in Aroostook County do remain in Aroostook County, and the THAW radiothon donations in the Hancock and Washington County area will be for folks in those service areas, but we're very appreciative to Star 97.7 and community partners in Washington and Hancock County that are working with us to launch this first radiothon this fall on Thursday, November 13th. So in addition to that, what we wanted to share with you now is another opportunity that is coming up that is happening by the AARP Maine is leading here in the state of Maine in two different locations. Unfortunately, one is in Presque Isle, the other is not in Washington and Hancock County. But the information that we have right now on these sections focused on lowering the electric bill. It's for obviously especially for seniors that are living on fixed incomes, but they are hosting two virtual workshop sessions from AARP and the Office of the Public Advocate, and Central Maine Power and Versant Power are partnering on these two in Presque Isle on October 14th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and in Hollowell on October 21st at 10 a.m. You can go to the AARP Maine website. The address is there on your screen to register for one of those two forums on lowering electric bills. So we're passing that information along to our community partners as well. The other thing that we wanted to pass along to you is that yesterday during this meeting, we had some great participation from Hancock and Washington County. And we asked folks if you know of other resources, because one of the questions that was asked in the chat yesterday or afterwards in the Q&A section is what other resources do you direct folks to? And obviously the answer in Aroostook County is we try not to, because we have that covenant with folks. If there is no other recourse for folks, we direct them to 211 Maine. The United Ways of Maine have a small fuel fund there, but we try in all cases not to refer them back to the same faith-based communities and municipalities that we partner with that have asked us to that have agreed to coalesce around a centralized fuel resource. So 211 Main is a resource across the 3 counties, and certainly one that we would refer to if someone has exhausted their opportunity through the Home Energy Assistance Program, the emergency program, and the donation fuel fund, or there is no available funds in that fund. But we were also made aware of the following organizations that you can see on your screen from some of the folks who joined us in yesterday's meeting as resources in the community. We ask that if any of you have any other resources that you would like us to add to this list, when we will add them to the PowerPoint presentation that we will attach separately in next week's briefing, so that folks can scroll through and see what additional resources have been submitted to us for additional fuel assistance that we might want to point folks in the direction of, particularly in Washington and Hancock counties in this case. And with that, we wanted to open it up now for questions to hear what any thoughts that you might have about any of the material that we've shared with you, or any of the or anything else that's on your mind right now related to energy assistance for our friends and neighbors, or any other questions you might have of community action in the counties of Aroostook, Washington, and Hancock. One more, just hold on to it just for another minute in case someone has a question that they'd like to post. Either do that in the chat or just unmute and feel free to ask. Well, certainly if you want to send us an email or ask any other questions, we will be, again, we'll include the slides and the presentation upcoming in our weekly briefing that will go out next Tuesday morning. So we will have that information in, and we're grabbing any of the emails that are being submitted to us in the chat if you're not already receiving that, to ensure that we add you to that list for next week. All right, with that, I wish you a great rest of your day, and thank you so much for joining us for this Fuel Assistance Forum for Aroostook, Washington, and Hancock counties. Have a great rest of your day.